Hi, hello, hello, hello. I don't know why I'm trying to turn up the volume here. Are we all right on here? I don't know whether the volume's on the iPad. Hello, can you all hear us? This is going to be very interesting because we don't have the chat on here, do we? Why don't we have the chat though?
I've got the chat. This is what I anticipated, Andrew. It's okay because I got it here.
Okay, oh, well
Yeah.
done, well done. So can everybody see us and can everybody hear us?
Mute, sorry.
And we'll soon find out now. Oh, it's not so sensitive, is it? Sorry.
No.
Oh.
Let's see. Hi, okay. Good.
All right,
Skip
everyone.
ads.
What?
See you here both. Thank you, Michael.
Good, good. Yes, it's a little bit different today. So
we've literally, in the last 5
minutes,
walked in through the door from being at the NAS Summit all weekend. So we've, literally just come in. So if we'd gone to the shop to broadcast, we would have been late.
Yes.
So yeah, that's why we're here. So a bit different today, but we've got lots to tell you.
So we've been up to the National Association of Jewellers Summit and Valuers workshop. That was held in the Park Regis Hotel in Birmingham, and we have literally, as Louise just said 5 minutes ago, just walked through the door. We thought we can't get to the shop on time, so we thought we'd do it from Louise's study, and you can see Louise's study. It's got the gorgeous William Morris wallpaper, and I absolutely love it. So good.
So yeah, I look like I've been dragged through a hedge because we've
absolutely shattered.
What a weekend though.
Yes.
It's been absolutely amazing.
It's been very good. We went up on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
We were up at 4 o'clock, 4:30, to get up to Birmingham on time, and we've had Saturday full of no, they weren't bookshops, they were more sort of lectures, I suppose, and we had a 1 hour break for lunch then, and then in the evening there was a barbecue and chatting then till goodness knows what time, and then Sunday we had workshops and masterclasses that we chose what to do, and that was full on as well. You're supposed to have a comfort break after the first one because it overruns.
But that was because everybody was so interested and had so many great questions.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we were, we had questions too. What was your favourite then, Andrew? Because we saw lots of things, didn't we? We saw on the first day, it was all lectures, wasn't it? So there were keynote speeches.
We don't know where that is.
But I really loved. We went to a workshop on how to spot fake watches.
The watches was good,
and that was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I loved that. And that was by a gentleman called Kenneth Masso.
Yes, Masso. Yeah,
he was brilliant.
And everyone says, well, yeah, I can spot a fake by the look of the watch, by the feel of the watch. You know, does it tick when it should sweep? The quality of the dial, but it was none of that, because that is no guaranteed surefire way of telling a watch is fake, because they move they may have original case, but with a cheap Chinese movement in it. And he was showing us examples of how even pawnbrokers and jewelers have been duped by simply looking at the watch instead of looking inside the watch. And that's what it was all about, is looking for telltale signs of the movement.
But when I saw that, I thought, oh, I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to understand it. It's going to go above my head. I don't understand watch movements. But he made it so easy to understand, didn't he? And I went away feeling like I wanted to learn horology.
Yeah. he gave you a bag, didn't he, with a watch in it, and then a piece of printed paper, and the watch was a fake, and you take the back off and you could see, and he showed what the movement should look like compared to what the movement is in there, and showed you all the telltale signs to look for. And then he had an actual Cartier watch that was original, but it was an early one. Someone said it was a fake, but actually it was original, and it was that sort of thing. But these workshops were literally only about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But everybody went hour and 10, hour and 15 then. Brilliant.
That was the other one I really enjoyed, but you didn't get in on that one. The Rupert Huddy looking at hallmarks, and that was really, oh, hang on, something's happened here.
I got low power.
You're gonna have to, Yeah, and we met Gaetano, didn't we? The president of Subjo. That was a real highlight.
Yes.
And I think that's what's really good about the NAJ Summit, is that it's amazing how many experts, leading experts from the different areas of the industry are all in one place.
Yes.
I can't think of anywhere else where you get
that many industry experts together in
from,
one place.
like I say, from every corner of
of
the industry that you can learn from. It's just,
yeah.
that's why it's been such an amazing weekend. And then of course we had the awards.
The awards
which was
ceremony last night.
the awards, and we were absolutely thrilled to bits that Chris Lewis. And he, it was such a pleasure meeting him, wasn't it? He presented the award to him.
He was so bubbly.
Yeah, he was a lovely chap, and he's so talented. So yeah, we're really excited to see him again and see what he does next.
Oh, that was really good.
Yeah,
really pleased for him. That was amazing.
Absolutely thrilled for Chris. So that was really good.
Yes.
And today, this morning, this is why we've been in a terrible rush. We only planned this towards the end of last week. We've been at the Assay office. We've been at the Birmingham Assay office all morning, haven't we?
Yes.
We have had I've been blown away. If you ever get a chance to go to the Assay office, and they have been doing tours, I think they were always on a Friday.
Fridays. Yeah.
So that's why we couldn't go. So we took the opportunity. I can't recommend it enough. It's not just hallmarking. The stuff they do there, the work they do there is amazing. They've got the hallmarking floor, which we all know about, but
so much more.
There's the laboratory.
Yeah.
And there's chemists there, like scientists, and they test. They're doing.
White
What they're doing is absolutely amazing, isn't
it? And all
it?
the gem testing and all the
There's
equipment they've got
labs.
to test all that, and all where they. It was quite interesting. There's one laboratory where they actually test everything and test the metals, and the one chap said, "Well, we can dissolve anything."
Yes.
And that was quite scary, really, just wondering what he was talking about, but there we go.
Well, we saw the valuation room as well, didn't we? And what I was struck by was they're like a family. They all support each other so much, don't they? And it's so cohesive. And
but even though the departments seemed separate, they worked together and worked within the departments as well. And
again, so many amazing experts under the one roof. It's just,
brilliant.
Yeah, I didn't know half of what went on in the Assay office, and I just feel really excited about it now.
It was really good.
I want to work in the Assay office. I came from there going, this is what an amazing place. Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, but we couldn't stay for lunch. We had to rush home to do this. But there we go. Did you spend any time with Cookson's? Sorry, no. You just didn't have time. We had to be at the Assay office by 10:30. We had to pack up and check out, and we got there just on time. And that was supposed to be a 2-hour tour, but 3 hours later, they were just finishing then, and we just didn't have time. But no, we did the tour, and it was absolutely brilliant.
The tour was great, and Gaetano was there for the tour as well, and he really is an inspirational man, isn't he? His talks were phenomenal.
Yeah, and there were talks on diamonds, talks on natural diamonds versus lab diamonds. Oh my gosh, that was a brilliant sort of diamond panel, wasn't it?
Got a bit heated,
that got very heated indeed. But
so good.
There's just so much that we are trying to process. We haven't stopped talking about it, coming home in the car. We haven't stopped talking. I'm sure we're going to carry on, have a glass of wine tonight, put together a couple of reels and stories, and carry on talking about it.
But if you get the chance to go to the Birmingham Assay office, do go, because it is just
it is an
amazing place, and they're doing amazing work there. It's really cool.
It's absolutely brilliant. So yes, we can't recommend that enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. So again, apologies if you're just joining us that we're not at the shop, we're not in our studio. We are literally just recovering from a hectic weekend.
Running through the door.
Put the iPad on, plugged it in because it's nearly dead. Put the laptop on, put the phones on charge because they're pretty dead, and we're in Louise's study.
Welcome.
So if Louise moves that way a little bit, you can see one of Louise's.
That's why I'm not good. That's why
we can see one of Louise's friends. Show your friend, Louise.
No.
I'll bring him into show.
No, some people don't like it, do they?
But
I have been assured
it was roadkill.
They're all the work of this particular taxidermist. They all die of natural causes.
I'm sure it knows.
No. Some people don't like it. In fact, hold on. I'm just gonna. Some people do find it quite offensive, don't they? So I do apologise. I should have. Let me put him over here. Where should I? Okay, listen.
Keep him in the other room.
Yeah.
Keep
him away from the cat. Oh, he's giving me evils now.
Yes. So I'm going to let you go through all the questions. We won't have any tools to hand, and we haven't got any whiteboard, obviously. So we may be very limited in what we can do. But obviously, please, if you do have any questions about anything to do with jewellery, please put it in the chat. If you want to say something nice about us, put it in the chat. If you want to say something not nice to us, well then don't put it in the chat. Don't put it in the chat. So yeah, brilliant weekend. So we've got lots to process, lots to put forward, and it's going to be a brilliant time.
Thank you. For yes, it's a dress. I've been trying to dress smart this weekend anyway, for a change. David, it's a bottle of matches.
What is?
Not a bottle of whiskey. It's next to my my €20 tin of sardines that I bought.
Like this.
Yeah, couldn't get that. That's it. I don't know why it's in a I don't know why it's in a bottle. I just like the bottle.
It's a bottle of matches, and there's what we thought was absolutely brilliant. We bought that back from Madeira, and it's like a gold bar, but it is sardines. It's gold flakes.
I don't even like sardines.
No, I can't stand sardines, but we had to buy it. It's sardines with gold flakes in it.
Portuguese sardines.
And it cost us €22.
Sorry.
But by the time we picked it, we said, oh my gosh, we want to have that. It was too late to go. No, we don't want it. It's too much. How about the
Oh, Jill, yeah, it's a jackdaw. But the taxidermist, she's an award-winning taxidermist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you show this one? This is really cool. Can I show this one?
Some people don't like it, honestly. Some people will be offended, Andrew.
Can I?
I wouldn't.
Oh, but he's cool.
Yeah, but some people really don't like it.
Okay, then I won't. Sports.
Yeah, I am.
Sports.
I am. I spoil all your fun.
There
I'm sorry. Okay, do you want a question?
Yes, have a question.
Okay.
Let's have a question.
I think we've rabbited on enough, haven't we?
Yes.
Alan is saying, does anybody know what the size and thread type are on the two female brass connectors on the hoses that come with the Smith's little torch?
I don't know exactly what they are, but they are industry standard. So, go back up a sec.
Oh, sorry.
So was it on the...
Yeah.
So one is oxygen and one is going to be propane. So they're opposite threads. So you can't get the bottles mixed up. But they're industry standard. So if you had, say you went to Tufnell Glass and you bought an Oxycon, the connectors they give you will connect it to your Smith's little torch. If you have a bottle of propane and then you have your flashback arrestor, when you attach your flashback arrestor into your propane, the actual then connectance on the opposite end of your flashback arrestor is a standard one, and it'll automatically fit your Smith's little torch connectors. So there's no real need to worry. They are all industry standard.
That's just
I can't see that. Happy about that.
Right.
Happy about that. Yeah. So that's, I don't know what they are, but they are standard fittings for the type of gas that you need. And if you're having oxygen bottles from BOC or Air Products, anything like that, again, when you put in your regulator that goes in the oxygen, the outlet from the regulator then fits automatically into your Smith's little torch oxygen end. So again, there's no need to know, they are industry standards. Yes.
Okay. Michael says that wallpaper is almost as fancy as Andrew's shit.
Isn't it good?
Today.
This is William Morris, Arts and Crafts Movement, 1890 to 1910. It is the actual prints from Morris & Co., which is his company that he set up. And this is one of the designs of William Morris. We were in the Cozy Club in Cardiff about 2 years ago, and they had this wallpaper on a pillar. Okay, bearing in mind it was like a little square pillar. And Louise went, oh, we both did. Want that wallpaper. So Googled it, went to this, and we bought this wallpaper.
Google Lens is great, isn't
absolutely
it?
Brilliant. So this is the sort of style of Louise's.
I wanted it like an Edwardian gent smoking room.
Yeah.
And it was funny enough, Lee did call this Smoker's Corner because it's a little bit yellow.
Yeah, we've got an actual Georgian writing bureau as well, here as well, just between us. This is like a Georgian.
I'm in the way.
There you go, a Georgian writing bureau as well from around the turn of the century. So we try to keep everything sort of in keeping.
Okay, do you want another
Yes,
question?
please. Yes.
Christine says, hi from smoky Montreal. We hold the world record for bad air quality since yesterday due to wildfires up north. Oh,
God,
no.
that's terrible.
Phil liked your shirt. Hi,
Yeah,
Phil.
my shirt got a few comments, didn't it?
It certainly
It
did.
was a good shirt to wear, that.
Good. Airbrush apocalypse. Do you have any tips on dealing with heat while using a bench polisher? I'm struggling to keep hold of small pieces that I'm polishing, allowing them to fly across the room. Any tips?
It depends what sort of small items are you trying to polish, because sometimes it's easier to polish those with a small Dremel or a flex shaft with some smaller mops. What we find is very good is the alligator tape. Some people call it vet tape, and it's like that green, sort of slightly tacky tape that comes on a roll. Again, we sell it in the store. That you wrap around your finger to protect your fingers, and that's pretty good. That's got a little bit of tackiness about it when you put it on first of all, and you can usually hold items with that. So that is something I would definitely recommend that you get, and that would stop the heat from penetrating and hurting your fingers as well, especially if it's small pieces, because they do tend to heat up really quite quickly. Or you could try holding the piece in perhaps a ring clamp, something like that.
Somebody has suggested Austin cheap gardening gloves with a rubber grip.
Yeah, we got some cloth backed but very thin rubber palms and fingers, and that's usually pretty good. Although I don't normally like to wear gloves, because they can sort of catch in a polishing wheel and pull your fingers.
Oh, you don't want that.
You don't want that. Yeah.
Okay, Martine is saying, I've watched a video where the artist was setting an intricate multi-piece in place and then poured something that looked like plaster. What would this be?
Okay, so these are so popular, being reposted upon Instagram, and all it is plasticine. Whatever they're using, it could be green, could be blue, could be pink, could be yellow, could be black, could be white. It is just modelling clay, plasticine, that they put into a certain shape. Then they arrange the items within that plasticine to get the layout, and that is usually perhaps the back of the piece or the bottom of the piece. So all the areas, all the pins that need to be soldered are sticking up. Then they use plaster of Paris, but what they do is put a little ring of paper around the outside, pour plaster of Paris on top. When that plaster of Paris has set, they lift it up, they remove the plasticine, and then obviously what was left sticking up in the air, wrong way around.
You're very tired, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay. I'll rewind. So the bits that are sticking up, I apologise, from the plasticine, are the bits that are being held, and the bits that need to be polished should be soldered or sticking down into the plasticine. So it's the wrong way around. They put investment or plaster of Paris up on the top. Then they set that set, turn it over, take the plasticine off, and then the exposed areas, then they can solder. So yeah, it's the wrong way around, but you get the general gist of the idea. It's nothing fantastic, it's just purely there to hold the pieces in place and for you to arrange it whilst you put the plaster of Paris on top to hold it all together.
It's a good idea. Why are you always so negative about it?
Oh, because I'm getting tired of seeing it.
But it's nothing bad. There's nothing
no,
wrong
nothing.
with it,
It's nothing bad. But there are other ways of doing things that they're
well, there's
not.
Lots of ways of doing
showing.
everything, aren't there? Well, most things anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I apologise.
See, he's getting grumpy now because he's tired. Like you don't get grumpy any other Monday when you're not tired. Okay. Victoria says, I love the blouse, Louise. Thank you. Yours wasn't too bad either, Andrew.
I'm not quite sure what to do with it. Perhaps I'll raffle it off.
Yeah, but don't solder in it, for God's sake. If you
no, it's very yes.
I would imagine it's quite flammable.
I would have thought so. It was very very blousy, wasn't it? Very lovely actually. It was nice and cool.
It certainly was a bit of a talking piece, wasn't it?
It was, yes. Yes, I got talked at in the lifts and everything.
Yeah.
Who would tap me on the shoulder? Oh, I like your shirt.
Yeah, they were all too polite to call it a blouse.
Yeah.
Right. Amon is saying, I'm making flat cloisonné pieces. How to use diamond paste to bring flat enamel pieces to mirror polish.
Okay, so sometimes you don't necessarily have to use a diamond paste, because what you need to do is to ensure that the enamel is perhaps level with the surface, and you would use perhaps something like some emery paper, wet and dry, make sure it's wet so the water takes away the granules of the glass. Then you can use something like a water of air stone or finer grade emery paper. Now the trick is, I haven't done an awful lot of enameling, but what I think they do is don't necessarily polish the glass. What they do, they would put it back into the kiln for a few seconds so the surface just melts, and then they take it back out. So then the surface then is perfectly polished, and that's how I think it is done. And then they polish the silver. I could be wrong. I've got enameling books, not quite sure whether they're here. This is my book collection over here, as you can see. There we go, there's my book collection all along there, hundreds of books. But that's how I think it is all done. I think it's not necessarily polished, it's polished to a degree, then it's put in the kiln and it's flashed. And it gets melted.
So that just kind of glazes the top then, I suppose. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Dances Without Arcs is saying, what is a reasonable price on a second-hand oxygen generator?
Go on to Tufnell Glass. I think, what are they, £300? Can't remember exactly what it is. But Tufnell Glass is the best place, I think, to get them. They do very, very good prices. So Tufnell Glass, let me just have a double check. Tufnell Glass, let's have a very quick look. They do the kilns as well. Not a good website, is it? On mobile.
No, Andrew, say what you mean. Well, this whole weekend. not just about Teflon.
Oxygen concentrators.
Just
Here we go.
moaning.
Propane oxygen equipment. Here we go. Oxygen concentrators and spare parts. Tufnell Glass. TUFFNELLGLASS.
They are fabulous, though, aren't they?
They are.
Martin, is it Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Martin,
we met
definitely.
Martin and he was.
Yep. So
he's an absolute sweetie.
So a reconditioned Oxycon 293. There's one there 285. A new 5 litre is £785. So you can get the reconned. Nothing wrong with that. It comes with a 12-month warranty, and it will use with Smith's Little Torch as well. So yeah.
It comes with a name.
And they all come named as well, with an adoption certificate. So that's what we got, as you can see there. That's the
Yours
price.
is called Basil.
Yeah, mine's called Basil.
Which is quite appropriate because you have been likened to Basil
Basil
Fawlty,
Fawlty,
haven't you?
right there. Yeah. Louise, yeah. So there we go. That's the best. By £290, £300.
Good. Alan says that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and don't worry if the error light comes up, because they are obviously used for the medical trade. But when they get retired,
Yeah.
they're given to glass blowers and jewelers as well. So we don't have to worry about the quality of the air that comes out like if it was a medical device. As long as it's oxygen, we have the light comes on all the time, so there's no need to worry about that.
Good. Okay, good. Alan says thanks for the tip last week on HS Walsh for the flashback arrestor. We bought that. Thank you. Oh, you're very, very welcome.
Good.
Okay, Norbert is saying on the previous live you showed a necklace from Zaremski. Would you know what kind of wire he would have used inside of the tubes that articulated? Would you like me to go and get it?
It's upstairs, is it?
I know exactly where it is.
We will have a look.
We were at home today then, wasn't it?
We'll have a look. It's. I think it is. It won't be a nylon. It's got to be a steel wire, I would have thought. So Louise has just gone upstairs. Oh, there we go. Oh, Vaughan Green, you have 4 rooms with William Morris design. Do like a bit of William Morris, the arts and crafts movement. Yeah, absolutely. I went to William Morris's house, the Red House, about 4 years ago now, towards Oxford Way. Absolutely brilliant. Loved every moment of that. Had William Morris's smock. It was absolutely brilliant. So we love that. Let's have a look. So there's Ramsky wire. Lisa's just going to have a look at that now. We've got Claire's got William Morris curtains for the common design. They're all lovely. All the designs great.
I've got you a loop as well.
Thank you. You can have that.
You're welcome.
You can have that. Got it.
And try and keep it flat because I don't want it to, I don't want the wires to bend. Oh, I'm stuck.
Let's have a look. Really can't see without it.
Yeah, it's...
Because it looks like it's been... Yeah, it's tiger tail. So it's a multi-strand steel, and I'm not quite sure, but it looks like there may be a plastic coating on the outside of it, but I think within the beading community, I think they call it tiger tail. So it's like a multi-strand, and the ends are simply just tied. Yeah.
Are they?
The ends are just tied inside. So yeah, it looks like tiger tail.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yes, obviously you can't use a silver chain, it will break. You can't use a nylon, can't use a silk because the edges of the tubes are going to be too sharp. So it's a multi-strand. Yeah.
Very clever.
And that's why I think it obviously, when it all goes together, it sort of keeps its shape quite well as well.
It sits nicely, yeah. It's this side, I love it. It's very innovative, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's upside down. That's upside down.
Well, one way can't be upside down, can it? They can't be both upside down. There you go.
Yeah.
You got it. But it's nice.
But I don't know what's happened to the plating. It's gone a bit it's gone a bit squiff, isn't
like
it?
Me, it looks better with age.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like an old cheese. I mean a fine wine.
Fine wine.
Sorry.
Yeah. Carry on. I want to get a better torch. What all is needed for this Mr. Little Torch? I know flashback arresters, but what type of gas bottles does it take? Austin, yeah, some people will actually use disposable gas bottles, the small little bottles like this. I have a feeling that the Smith's Little Torch will go through those quite quickly. I'm not quite sure in what country you're in, Austin, but we have the small little propane, the red small tanks that people use, say, when they do barbecues or the outdoor heaters, that sort of thing. And from that, you can use your flashback arresters. I think they screw directly into the bottle. There's a stop tap on top of the bottle, and then the flashback arresters will screw directly into that tap, so you can turn it on and off. Then your Smith's Little Torch will screw into the other end of the flashback arrestor, and if you've got your oxygen converter, the connections from that will have the fittings to screw onto the oxygen of the Smith's Little Torch.
Good.
So that should be all you should really need.
Good.
Yes.
Phil, not totally about making jewellery. Do people prefer a Windows-based PC or a Mac? That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
For what?
In general, I'm guessing. Well, I'm a Windows girl, and you're a Mac guy, aren't you?
I can't stand Windows. I have to put up with it if I have to, but my problem with Windows, you've got to log into flipping your drive, what's it called? OneDrive?
Is it really so much bother?
Yes, I don't want to have to log in.
We could argue about this for an hour, so I'm just going to end
Windows,
that there.
Windows, no. Mac, iOS. Because basically, I've got an iPhone, we got an iPad, we got an iMac, we got a MacBook Pro,
what have we got
and
here?
it all syncs together. You can AirDrop, you can file share. It's so much easier than a Windows that's clunky.
It's personal preference, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Greetings from Greece. Hi. Beginner jewellery maker here with a question. I often end up with fire stain on my silver pieces. Could you elaborate a bit on the process to avoid fire scale and fire stain?
Yes. So basically, what it is, fire scale, fire stain, is your silver is made up of an alloy. So it's real fine silver mixed with, say, copper, which is usually the case. Okay. And as you know, if you have something made of copper and you leave it exposed to the air, it will discolour. And what is happening is when you have your alloy, sterling silver, and you heat it with a torch, the oxygen from the torch is being forced onto the surface, and the copper that's within the alloy absorbs that oxygen, and as a result of that, it oxidizes. And that is what you can see upon the surface, but that you can only really see it once you've polished it. Excuse me. So the idea is to stop the fire scale developing is to have a barrier in the way between the flame and the piece, okay? Now, it's not necessarily a barrier like a piece of metal because you'd never heat up what's underneath. It's usually like a barrier, like a flux, prips, magic boric, fire scoff, or flux, or just normal borax. As long as you can coat your piece with that in the area that your flame is hitting, the piece will still heat up and you can solder because the flux and the boric acid and your prips will act as the flux. The oxygen from the flame will be prevented from hitting the metal. So the copper in the metal will not be able to draw in the oxygen. And that is the best way to prevent fire scale. If you happen to have fire scale, and usually it only happens when appears when you polish the piece, it appears as like a grey cloud or a purplish sort of cloud. It doesn't zing, that it doesn't pop, the colour doesn't pop, the reflectiveness doesn't pop. What you've got to do, and it may appear in patches, is physically abrade it with an emery paper or a file, again working down the few grades, and then polishing. What you'll do is that when you've soldered something, you think, oh, there's no fire scale on that, you put it in your pickle, bring it out, and you go, oh, there's no fire scale on that. Because what has happened, the pickle has got rid of that very fine layer of copper off the surface, but underneath that very, very fine layer of silver is the main body of your silver and the fire scale. So then when you go and polish it, you think no fire scale on there at all, you polish it, the polishing process removes that very, very thin layer, and then you see the fire scale. So you've got to physically remove it and then repolish it. That's it in a nutshell, basically.
Okay. Louise is saying, I've been worrying since the Q&A when you were talking about scales and pricing. How do you price if not using scales, e.g. backplate and bezel?
No, you're okay. I didn't mean to cause anybody alarm.
Sorry to interrupt you, if anybody is, obviously we have to prioritise our members' queries, don't we? But
yes,
we don't want anybody worrying. So if anything said that makes you really worry at the Q&A, just email me and I can hopefully stop that worrying straight away. So yeah.
But what we were saying was that if you solely use the weight of the piece, times it by whatever it is, and then sell it, then those scales have to be government stamped and approved. If you are simply basing the cost of the silver plus your labour, your overheads and everything else on top, that is fine, because you're not solely using the price of the piece to give you the final selling price.
You can charge what you like for your pieces, but as long as you're not undercharging.
It's like some of the Asian jewellers will go in and they're selling their pieces for £55 a gram, for argument's sake. Yeah, they get the piece, they put it on the scales, and they go 3 grams, 55 is £165. Those scales have to be government stamped because they're giving you a price based upon the weight.
It's like when we buy in scrap or items for resale, they have to be weighed.
It's more,
and they have to be accurately weighed.
Yeah. So what is? But if you are working out a weight of a piece of metal, and you think it's 2.5 grams, you're not, and you've paid, I don't know, £1 a gram. That's £2.50. But you're not selling it for £2.50. Based upon that, you then are adding your overheads, this, that, and the other, and everything else. So the price of the silver is not dependent upon the final price, because there are other factors that get added into it. Does that make sense? It's not the be all. It's not the final price. So it's not the weight, and that's the final price. It's that you're looking at the weight incorporated with all your workings out, then you times it by this, you times it by that, you add this, you take off that, you add a percentage, whatever it is, and then that is your final price. That's fine. Your scales can be simple, basic scales. That's not a problem. It's just
one part of a bigger story,
isn't it? Yes. It is just one part of the final calculation of the price. It isn't the calculation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good one.
Okay. How far did we get? But yeah, if you're worried about anything like that, don't worry, just get in touch. Okay.
Good.
How far did I get? Because I scrolled to the Dances with aardvarks. I use small mole grips with faces going. Sorry. I use small mole grips with faces ground flat and lined with leather for polishing, but have to be careful not to crush things.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Good idea.
Good. Okay. Tawanda is asking, can I do stone setting with only Optivisor and no microscope? And if it's possible, which lens should I use?
Yeah, you can do. Microscopes, again, are very handy if you're doing micropave work, or if you've got nothing but a microscope. They are very, very good. And I find myself using a microscope more and more these days. But an Optivisor is just as good. And even people just with very good eyesight, that is good enough as well. Optivisors, we have a 4 diopter. I am looking tired. We have a number 4 diopter, which doubles the magnification. So if you're looking at something without glasses and it's this big, you put your Optivisor on, it is that big, which is brilliant. And I found that I used an Optivisor for many, many, many years. The stronger the diopter, the greater the magnification, but the closer the piece has to be to you, and then the depth of field gets shallower. So for me, a number 4, I put the number 4 on, I come at the bench and I can look sort of, I don't know, 14 inches, 18 inches away, not a problem.
Think about your posture as well, haven't you? You don't want to be hunched over
doing that
because that's not good for your back or your neck, is it?
Exactly. So you sit upright, the item's here, you can bring the item towards you about 4 inches, you can take it back away 4 inches, and that will still be in focus. But if you have a number, say number 6 or number 7 diopter, which is what we do have, that piece has to be closer to you, and you've literally got a very, very shallow depth of field on that piece. You can't move that thing away, you can't move it really close towards you, it'll take it out of the depth of field and it won't be in focus. So the depth of field gets shallower, the stronger the magnification is. So I would start with a number 4 diopter. Again, we sell all these in the shop.
Yeah, if you're anywhere near South Wales, just call in and you can try all the ones that we've got, really.
Yes.
Because it's hard to know, isn't it? And you might need.
Yes.
You might need 2, because they do change the lenses, pop in and out.
You can change
Once
the
they
lenses.
popped out, though, they tend to pop out and you don't
They
want
pop
them
out
to.
rather easily, yes.
So you might need.
Yes.
Brace not working.
Screw them in place.
Yeah. Yes, but you're always welcome if you're anywhere near South Wales. Anybody to
pop
come in and have a look. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, drop us a line first if you are going to visit, because we're not always there.
Yes.
Okay, so Laura is saying about the heat from the polishing wheel. Can you also control the heat by removing the piece from the wheel? Use light pressure and polish briefly, then pause, polish, then pause, etc.
Yeah, that's what we do. We do quite often, as you say. You have a look at the piece, you put it on, pop this direction, then you turn it around. You do it in this direction, then you take it off. You have a look, and that's cooling the piece down. And then you can reapply it. As Laura says, if you push too hard, the cutting compound is going to be a little bit too harsh, and yes, it will overheat. So I suppose, again, it depends on how finished your piece is before you polish it. If you find there are lots of marks on it, well, then you've got to really polish it hard. That will increase the heat. But if you can finish your piece, I know Lee, who works with us, he finishes down to about 1,000 grit on that, and he doesn't spend much time in the polishing room, which means the pieces don't get heated up an awful lot. We don't have an awful lot of work to do on it.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Absolutely correct.
Good. Sumseen, are you a fan of the pulse graver, the airless graver?
I'm not quite sure whether they're the same people, but we've got a Graver Mac, which works from a compressor, which is an air compressor. I do like it. I haven't had time to use it a great deal, but I find it's brilliant. I haven't done much engraving with it, but the bit of engraving that I've done is it's brilliant for. I'm not saying my work is brilliant, because it's not. But the times that I've used it, it's been fabulous. It is so easy. I find the palm pressure on the handpieces are easier for me than the foot. I think maybe if it goes to the foot, it may be leaking slightly, so I'm going to have to get that checked. But yeah, we have a Graver Mac, and we find that is really, really good. We've got all the gravers there, and the beading tools on that too. What do you have to do?
Looking for the link for the form.
/spotlight.
Spotlight. I thought it was spotlight. Put make a spotlight.
Spotlights.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, atthebench.com /spotlight.
Just going to pop it in the chat for somebody. Good.
Yeah.
Christine is saying, when selling pendants, do people buy more often with or without a chain? For us, 100% with.
The chain,
they don't really get. Somebody would have to ask, I suppose, wouldn't they? Are you talking retail or wholesale? Because wholesale, we buy them in. Generally, they come supplied without a chain, and then we have to buy the chain separately to
sell it onto the public.
But yeah, to sell to our retail customers, we would just provide it with a chain.
Yes,
every time
give them a choice as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes the chains come in 16 and 18. There's a little jump ring halfway through that you can do it. 16, 18, 20. Sometimes there's a couple of jump rings that enable the chain to be shortened or lengthened. But yeah, selling to the retail, to the public, always with a chain. But
go on. I was going to say, if you are supplying your pendants without a chain, somebody might put it on the chain which is not right for the pendant. It might make it look.
Yes.
I don't know. You want it to look how you've designed it to look, but also if somebody puts something heavy on a light chain and the chain snaps, I don't know. Is it going to come back on you?
The pendant may become lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I would think of, really.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good suggestion.
Penny, yay! I'm so sorry. Penny has just successfully uploaded to the Maker Spotlight. Great. I'm so sorry that you had all the mucking around it. We thought it was ready, but it wasn't quite. But if you don't know about Maker Spotlight, we're going to be running a kind of online exhibition. Yeah. It's going to be a chance for us to highlight your work, because we were doing it at the Q&A when we were showing, doing the show and tell.
Yes.
But it just got so popular, really, that if we'd be showing and telling and not answering many questions. So we're going to do like a maker show. So that's what the Maker Spotlight is. Donald, you asked me for the link. I'm just going to pop it in the chat. So if anybody else wants to
submit,
then yeah, or if you need any help with the form or want any advice, do get in touch with me at the usual. It's not there. Louise, it's going to be you. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. So what it is, every month, depends on if we're providing we get enough people each month, we're going to be doing it every month, and perhaps we'll be spotlighting 4 or 5 or 6 makers. The idea is, on the form you fill in obviously your name, your address, your social media or website details if you have one. If you haven't, it doesn't matter. Perhaps a headshot, and then a little bit about yourself, and also then what inspires you, and a bit about the pictures that you're submitting. You can submit up to 5 images, I do believe. Submission of the form is not necessarily a guaranteed inclusion into the Maker Spotlight. I have to say that. But the idea is then each month what we'll be doing upon the At the Bench Facebook page, we'll be having the headshots and a brief synopsis of what we're going to be doing later that week or the following week. And then we will feature you, we will talk about you, we'll show you a headshot, and then we'll show the images, we'll describe you, all about you, how you got into jewellery making and what inspires you, and a little bit about the pieces. It's just that because the show and tell got so successful, and we were getting some amazing pieces of jewellery.
With amazing stories behind them as well.
Oh, the stories were fantastic as well that went with it. So we're hoping that we can do this. We're calling it Maker Spotlight because we're putting the spotlight upon the makers. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be perhaps every month. It'll be in addition to
Facebook and Instagram,
everything else, and we'll feature it on Facebook and Instagram as well.
It's just such a good opportunity to demonstrate your talent, isn't it? And obviously reach lots of people and inspire others.
Yes.
You know, inspire people who are maybe starting out their journey. And maybe get some more industry followers.
Because we have like nearly 130,000 followers on YouTube. We got close to 40,000 followers on Instagram. I'm not quite sure how many's on Facebook now, but we feel it's just a good opportunity to get your name out there. And if it means the fact that you put your Instagram handles, are they called Instagram handles?
I say that because I think it makes me sound like I know about social.
Your Instagram @ or whatever your name is, put that on there. We can publicise that. You know, perhaps you get a few more followers and people will follow you and so forth, and your brand will grow.
But also, it can be a lonely job, can't it?
Oh yeah.
And we really need to network. And it's like Gaetano from he said over the weekend, we all need to be supporting each other. We all need to be
sing the same
helping each other out, because we're all in the same industry, aren't we? We're all so this is what we need to do. We need to protect it, and we need to promote the excellence, and we're not going to be able to do that unless we do it together.
Yes, and that's what we feel that we can do for you guys.
Yeah, but that was that was good, and it's motivation. So if you're doing something, or you kind of like nearly finished a project, it might just give you that final kick to finish it and and show it off.
And perhaps even if you haven't necessarily finished a piece and you're halfway through it and you're stuck in whatever, you can still upload it and we will still give you advice as well. It's not the sort of thing where we're going to criticise or anything like that. That is not what it's all about. It's to give positive encouragement. And if you ask for advice, we'll happily give it.
So you don't need to worry.
Yeah, so at thebench.com/spotlight. And we just put it in the chat. Yeah, so please, get submitting.
Okay, Valerie is saying, to control heat when polishing Australian opals, water is your best friend. Burning them causes lots of damage.
Yes.
Cool, thank you. David, hi, I recently saw a German goldsmith make a chain out of oval links which he formed on a parallel oval mandrel. Do you know where I can buy one, as I can't find any on the interweb?
Okay, so your parallel oval mandrel. Lion Punch Forge is making, I think, oval parallel mandrels. The sides are, thank you, but the sides are parallel, but the tops are rounded. You can make your own. This is the best thing about our industry. You can get two nails, fasten the nails together. Perhaps you can solder those nails together. It doesn't matter about the sides, because the sides are going to be like this, but the wire will come straight across the outside of the two nails, around and so forth. So I personally would not necessarily buy equipment or tools that I can make myself. If you have a rectangular section, well, when you bend the wire around the rectangular section, it's going to be angular. But what I've done in the past is got nails and just got the right size diameter, and perhaps soldered 2 nails or 3 nails side by side, and then you can wrap the wire around. So that is what I would rather do than spend money. Sorry if Chris is watching Lion Punch Forge, but that's what I would do, definitely. But check him out, Lion Punch Forge. Just give him a search on Google.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and he does some really, really good lives, doesn't he? And very interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm not quite sure. Do the Basil March guy?
No, don't do that. Penny, Janet is saying, I look forward to seeing other people on the site, but a bit scared to enter myself. No, don't feel like that, Janet. You should, definitely go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, don't feel embarrassed at all.
Let's see. Aman is saying, how to get the most shiny hammered texture on flat silver without bending and deforming the flat piece.
It will deform. This is because obviously when you hammer the piece, you are deforming the surface, so you will always end up bending it, and it'll always end up, the outside edges will always be that little bit of a funny edge. So there's nothing to stop you keeping it flat. There's nothing to stop you stopping the metal from deforming. It will always deform. So the best thing is to do the texture, if you can, first, and then you can cut your piece, you can hammer your piece flat, and then you can form it round. That is the best way to do it. Good.
Penny, my younger sister is really fortunate to have a gorgeous arts and crafts house, gorgeous, with lots of William Morris. Oh, that sounds nice.
That does sound lovely, doesn't it?
Emborn Green. Tiger tail is very strong. I hung a very heavy pendant I made for my sister. Okay. Cool.
Multiple blends,
good.
Like for me, thank you, Penny.
Oh, Amco's throwing Linux in the mix.
Linux, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think Matt and Grace use Linux.
Okay. Phil is saying, on my setup I have the flashback screwed into the gas regulator, then the little torch goes into the flashback. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right, Phil. Yes.
Okay. Austin says, so the Smith's little torch takes propane and oxygen bottles. I'm assuming you don't recommend the little plumber's bottles, but I can't move big bottles. I'm very sick. What would be a good size bottle?
I don't know much about the plumber's bottles. They're the small little gas canisters that are like this. The problem is there's not an awful lot of gas in them. I don't know about the fittings that go on them, so I don't know about them, unfortunately. But the propane, you can buy a small tank that's about 7 kilograms. That's not big at all, and I know you can pick those up from whether it be someone like B&Q or most camping suppliers. You can pick them up really reasonable, and the refills are very cheap as well. The disposable gas canisters you buy for plumber's torches, they are expensive for what they are, but I don't know what fittings are on the top. But 7 kilogram isn't big. It's literally no taller than that, and it's like no bigger than this. So that's what I would definitely recommend.
Good. Okay.
What happens if you get fire scale if you have textured a piece? Now that's a problem that you've got. If you are putting hammered texture and then you make a ring and solder the seam, then you got fire scale, you then would perhaps use something like a silicon carbide wheel, silicon carbide cylinder to sort of repolish or get rid of the fire scale that's in those little dips. Or what you could do is polish the piece and you may have fire scale on it, but then perhaps put some liver of sulfur on it, so all the low spots are going to be coloured with liver of sulfur, and all the high spots then are going to be polished up through perhaps normal wear, so you get that nice antique look about it. And even if it's not polished, and perhaps you put like a chiseled edge of your cross pane hammer, it's very hard to get the fire scale out, but as long as the surface is really polished well, it doesn't matter about those little dips, the fire scale can stay in there because that's where it's naturally going to oxidize over time.
Okay. Austin, I know the oxygen doesn't need a flashback arrestor. I just didn't know what bottles I needed. What settings in PSI do you all set the gas regulator?
Okay, so
gas regulators too, sorry.
So this is the problem. If you change the tips of your Smith's little torch, you'll find that the bigger the tip, the greater the pressure. The smaller the tip, the lighter and the smaller the pressure. I'm lazy. I leave a number 6 tip upon my Smith's little torch and I literally whack up the pressure. I think it's to full power, or the full power, but to full open. Because I'm lazy, I don't bother changing the tips of my torch. I simply adjust the size of the flame for what I'm using. But if you would use perhaps a number 3 tip on your Smith's torch, you're going to have to turn down the pressure on your regulator. And if you've got the dials upon the top of your propane, you'll be able to read off then what that pressure would be. If you buy a proper Smith's little torch, inside that kit comes a little chart telling you what pressure you should be using your gases on for what tip. I don't know what that is though.
But it's all in the
manual. It's all in the manual. There you go. We've all got original Smiths, because you can buy the sort of dodgy ones from abroad and certain things like that. But if I find that little sheet of paper, perhaps we'll put it on at the bench as in the resources, because it is a handy thing to have. And we'll make that available then to everybody.
Good.
Yes.
Janet says, any ideas on what Steve has going on with all his glasses when working on watches and clocks? This is Steve on the repair shop. I need to find a solution for my husband who can only use one eye now.
I think it's like, I think it's like me with my Optivisor, for instance. I think his glasses are magnification glasses, and perhaps he'll have a pair just to look around, but then he wants to get close, he keeps another pair on the top, like I do with an Optivisor, and just brings them down on top, and then going to be solely for magnification they are. And he's got into a little bit of a, not a gimmick, but a little bit of, what's what's it called, Louise? When you have
Just something he's recognised for, or
yes,
like
and
a
then
quirk.
like
Yeah.
a quirk. Yeah. So I think, for instance, with me, I wear these glasses, and then I have an Optivisor as well. The glasses pretty much stay on because I usually look above the glasses like that, and then I work down here. I tried varies, I've tried bifocals, can't get on with them, but then I'll still leave these on, and I'll bring the Optivisor over the top, and that gives me a little bit more magnification as well. So that's all they are. They are purely magnification. The last pair should be magnification. Perhaps he needs the normal pair to look around, but it saves him taking it off and putting the other pair on. He just brings them on and off. Yeah.
Good. You're very welcome, Amanda. Let's see. Any tips on polishing chain? Polishing seems to be my biggest trouble.
It depends on what size chain you're going to be polishing. A lot of times, if it's simply very thin chain, sort of like this sort of thing that is hanging around your neck, what you can do is get some warm water, a little bit of soap or some fairy liquid, some hand wash or some bar of soap. Get a brass brush, and don't use a steel brush. Steel's too harsh, but a nice brass brush. Wrap the chain around your hand, over by the sink, water on the brass brush, put some liquid, washing up liquid or hand soap on it, and literally just scratch brush. And new computer. And
Mac or a Windows?
We're going to the bloody window now. So then you just turn the chain around and literally just use that. And the brass then is very light. It sort of polishes the chain up with burnishing action. That's why I use a little bit of soap with it as well. Anything thicker than that, you can really do polishing by hand. Never ever put a loose chain upon the polishing motor. It's going to get caught. So perhaps get a wooden section of baseball bat or something like that you can wrap the chain around, so the chain is tight around, say, the baseball bat, and then you can polish up the chain, safe that the chain is not going to get caught in the mops.
Cool. Yeah. Good. Jill says community over competition. I love that.
Yes. Very good.
Oh, thank you, Claire. Thank you, Jill. Yes. And Janet's added lifelong learning and enjoyment. Love it.
Yes.
Cool.
Like that. Yeah. Cool.
That's what makes our event so great, is you guys. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Excellent. Any tips on polishing? Oh, where's it gone? Any tips on polishing? It's the process that takes most of my time, and it takes too long to bring something to the desired result. I use Grit 400, 800, and a Dremel 4000 with Dialex polishing compounds.
Again, I am lazy because I find ways of doing things faster when, for instance, I'm polishing. I put something on TikTok. Did I? Yeah, I put something on TikTok. I think I did put it on Instagram as well. How to very, very quickly clean the insides of ring shanks. We use the sanding drums, and I don't go any finer than a 600 grit. I find for me it takes too long, and that's perhaps what you're finding. 600 grit, go around the inside of the ring shank, for instance. Then I don't use Dialex. Is it Dialex? Can't remember if it's gone now. I don't use Dialex. I use something like a Menzurner, and I use a pre-polish, and then I have a fine polish, a high luster. So the pre-polish is a bit more gritty. I would use a white nylon brush into the pre-polish on the inside of the ring shank, literally 10 seconds. Go around, perhaps angle the brush instead of straight, but angle the brush slightly at an angle. So the lines would be going this way if you had the brush. So then you can actually see if you've got rid of all the sanding marks that are running at a different direction. And then I would swap out that with a soft woolen mop with a bit of rouge or some final polish, Menzurner final polish, and just go on the inside of the shank. And I can clean up the inside of a ring shank in literally from being filed to polishing in about 20 seconds, perhaps 30 seconds maximum, because of the technique that I have become accustomed to, and I know that I can polish. Same like with the outside of ring shanks as well. There's a lot of people in our workshop that will go through all the grits, finer and finer and finer, and then they go in the polishing room and it's a very, very small amount of polish. Again, I find for myself that is too time consuming. I've only got one grade buff stick with 600 grit paper on it. and that's all I use. I come from that, and then I'll go into the polishing room, and it's all about polishing at 90 degrees. So say you sand across and around, okay, you've got the ring and you sand in this direction, this direction. When you come to polish, on your polishing mops, polish at 90 degrees, so then it's going across the original markings, and you know then when you've got all the marks out, because you should see no marks running around the ring. So then once you've gone in this direction, you polish a higher polish in this direction, and then you should see no marks running across the ring, and it should be lovely and clean. That's the easiest, quickest way I can tell you.
Okay.
So there's no need to go through. And also speed is very important when it comes to polishing as well. And the bigger the mop, the faster it polishes as well.
Good.
So if you want to follow me on TikTok, I'm doing pretty well on TikTok now. I'm about 202, 204. TikTok, just search for After the Bench.
Okay. Jane is saying, has anyone experienced tendinitis or carpal tunnel from hammering and using repetitive actions? This is interesting, isn't it? And this is something I'd like to explore a little bit more, is occupational hazards, because I don't think it gets talked enough about. I've never heard anybody talk about it in the jewellery industry. And we try and promote PPE, don't we, and particularly eye protection, because I've heard of some truly awful things happening, because I spent 20 years working in the dental industry, and a lot of the rotary instruments are either the same but sterile, they're manufactured sterile, or they're just remarkably similar. And I've seen, the little clip-on Soflex discs like fly into sticking somebody's eye like that. And it's, anyway, we're not answering your question, but about basically how do we look after ourselves, because you have got carpal tunnel syndrome, haven't you?
This is it. I went through a stage of a bit of numbness.
Well, they did say there are times when it's bad and there are times when it improves a lot, and at the moment it seems to be fine and stable.
But it's there
might come a time where you're going to have to have something done about it. And you did start a little bit of a video diary, just because it's just.
And then it got better. I went to the consultant. He did all the tests, this, that, and the other. He went, you've got carpal syndrome. We're going to book you in. I went, hang on a second. Let's just wait.
And I'll get better. It's fine.
Let's just wait about this. It's a lot of money. Let me just double check that I'm okay. And to be honest, I didn't do anything differently, but it stopped.
He willed himself better when he found out how much the operation was.
and to be honest, it got better, and I found I was not getting the numbness in these three fingers here. But saying that, the other day I was working at the puck, and I think it happens when my arms are in a certain position when I'm working away. And I find it sometimes when I'm driving, my arm is on the side of the window like that, and I think it's just the position. Perhaps it's pressed on some nerves. I don't know. Sometimes it is bad.
Do you know what caused your carpal tunnel? Or sorry, I'm assuming that's what you have. Do you know? Have they been able to specifically pinpoint the activity that's caused it? Because that would be interesting. I mean, obviously you can't stop doing it. Because I worry about, you can stop doing it, but you don't want to stop doing it. The thing I worry about is the ultrasonic, the noise coming, the noise on your ears, the polishing motors is so loud. And the Ford and the noise of that, you've constantly got your head in that all day, haven't you?
Well, we're lucky the fact the polishing motor and the ultrasonic is in a separate room, so we close the door.
But you're still in
even when you're in
still
there,
not got ear protection. You still I think you should, and I know, but then I suppose you can't hear what's going on, and you need to be safe as well. So this is something I'm quite interested in.
It is interesting. Yes. But let us
know. So if anybody's got any information, then
email Louise.
And I'm just conscious of posture and things like that and how we work.
All the time.
I find it really interesting, and because if we all just collect this information and share it, then like I say, we can do better, can't we?
It would be very handy.
Yeah, so Claire says ice and heat pack splints. And rest in between. But
sometimes I do get a bit of numbness. I just stop and I shake my hand and I just let the feeling come back into my fingers, and that's all I really need to do.
AD is saying, I've been making jewellery for 12 months. Love the chats. Confidence is my biggest thing.
Good.
I think that's the same for lots of people, isn't it? Diana's saying, I've had both hands operated on for carpal tunnel. I feel really, really good outcome. Now pain free. Oh, that's fab.
That's brilliant. Yes.
That's really cool, because it is so nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Yes.
And you were upset, and then you felt better.
I did.
You do feel better. You're not just saying that so you didn't have the
No,
operation.
I honestly do. It doesn't really happen an awful lot now. And I know Steve Satao had it as well, and his is better as well. But I think what made me better was I looked at the operation on YouTube, and I saw.
Oh my God, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, and I went, oh no, I'm better, and I willed myself better. And I know perhaps it's not. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't do that. But if it does get worse, well, then yes, I will go and see about it.
I think as well, I don't know, is there something that you can, are there signs that maybe you can take note of and make little changes, which, I don't know. Janet says I had carpal tunnel with both pregnancies many years ago due to fluid. Diane says driving, handwriting and trying to hold small things made mine worse. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hand stretches are useful. Oh, that's cool. Thank you, Julia. Good. Lauren Kay says several people I know who were originally thought to have carpal tunnel actually has thoracic outlet syndrome. Similar issue, but compression is nearer to the neck than the wrist.
Oh, right, okay.
But you did see a consultant.
I saw a consultant,
yeah.
and he did the test. That's why I did that. He put my hand up in the air and he pushed and he pulled and he touched and he said, yes, you do.
Numbness could be HAVS from long exposure to vibrating tools. I have it from building tools. Okay, yeah. Lucy's a chiropractor. Okay, oh, well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, chiropractor, yeah, that's interesting, yeah. Considering that's the back, but
it's all connected, isn't it? You're just one body.
Well, like the song says.
Oh.
Your knee bones connected to you. Your thigh bones connected.
Okay.
And that's where we end that. How we do?
Well, it's 5 plus 5.
Brilliant.
Okay, good.
You get neck ache from teeth grinding.
Ooh, that teeth grinding, because that is caused by, or can be caused by stress, can't it?
Yeah.
But you can get a light splint from a dentist, they're custom made, and they help with that, because you can get pain in your jaw if you grind your teeth or clench.
Sometimes I find myself holding my teeth together in a certain way. Sometimes when I'm perhaps stressed.
This has turned into very surgery, isn't it?
Right.
Good. I think
that's about it. I think.
Unless anybody, I think we've missed a few questions at the end there, but we've run out of time, I'm afraid. Yeah, cool.
Brilliant. But yeah, as Alan said, don't forget to click the like button. Do appreciate it. But yeah, we've got lots of things. Oh, there we go. Dentist also recommended. Cool. Right, we've got lots of things to do over the next few weeks. Don't forget, next Monday is going to be our wax working workshop. A little bit behind getting the emails out. I'm working from home tomorrow, so tomorrow is going to be the day when all the emails will go out to everybody regarding the wax working workshop, which will be on Monday of next week, which is the 2nd of July, 3rd of July, can't remember. Should look that up beforehand, and that is going to be for a workshop between the hours of 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. If you're an At The Bench member, that workshop is free. You'll be getting your link with the code to enter to get the workshop for free. If you're not a paid member of At The Bench, it is £15. You get access to it on the day to the chat, and then you'll have lifelong access to that as well once it's been edited into the short chapters to put on throw it on At The Bench.
Yeah, Norbert, yes, come and see us. Please do. We'd love you to.
Oh yeah, please Norbert. Yeah, if you're local, if you're in Cumbraen, you can come round. Just give us a call beforehand.
Drop me a line or via email.
Yeah, just let us know you're on your way, and perhaps whenever it's going to be convenient for you and for us, you're more than welcome to do that.
Yeah, we'd love to see you.
Yes, we're going to have a nice glass of wine now. We're going to put the stir fry on for tonight.
We've got to get the cat first.
Oh, we've got the cat.
Oh,
we gotta go and get the cat.
That's hard, isn't it, Andrew?
Oh, it is. We're going to get the cat, glass of wine, stir fry for tea, and then we're going to be going through all the information that we sort of absorbed over the weekend. We got lots of stories and reels to do this week regarding the show, and we've got loads of films in the Assay office as well. So perhaps we'll put together
some we can show, some we can't.
I think I was quite okay with some of the things I showed. I filmed.
Yeah, we did ask. We asked and said, what can we film? What can't we film?
Yeah,
basically,
so we stayed within the rules.
Yeah, but they were fab.
They were
I had a
fab.
great
So
time.
perhaps we'll just put together a little short film instead of a little story. Put practically like a 5-minute film. That'd be better, wouldn't it? Think so? And
Maybe.
then we'll do a story. Okay, we're going to have a chat about this a bit later on, discuss it. But everyone, thank you very much for joining us today. Don't forget next Monday is the wax working workshop. The emails will go out tomorrow regarding what it's going to be all about. So keep an eye out for your emails. It may take a day or two for these emails to filter through, as we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of emails to send out. Even though it's all automated, we've got to be careful with the amount of emails we send out.
And if you think time's marching on and you haven't heard from us, do get in touch with me, Louise at andrewberry.co.uk.
By Wednesday. If you haven't heard anything by Wednesday, give Louise an email and we'll get that sorted out for you.
Yeah, then he will be delighted to see you. I can say with confidence that he won't. Not me anyway, he doesn't like me.
So yeah, keep an eye out on all our socials. We've got lots of news, lots of things planned over the next couple of weeks. As I said, no Q&A next Monday. It is our workshop, wax working workshop. But as I said, keep an eye out for socials, keep an eye out on your emails. If you're a member of At The Bench, if you're a Freeview member of At The Bench, you'll all be getting your emails. So keep an eye out for that. And as Louise said, if you haven't heard by Wednesday, just give us an email, louise@andrewberry.co.uk, and we'll sort it out.
Can I ask a beginner's question? Yeah. So if somebody wanted to watch the wax carving workshop, carve something, send it for casting, that would be entirely appropriate. They wouldn't necessarily have to cast it themselves. They could just send that wax model.
Yeah, send it off to Jewel Cast or whatever.
We use Jewel Cast, but there's other places. But
but don't forget, this is what a lot of people don't understand, is that if you are carving something in wax, don't forget that the wax may be very, very light, but the silver piece is going to be very, very heavy.
Yeah.
It works out roughly 1 gram of wax is around about 11.8, 12 grams of silver.
Right.
So don't make anything big,
so make it
thick
in miniature.
and chunky. Be careful. Think of dimensions. You get a nice wide band, it's going to be too wide for your finger perhaps. But think about the weight. A lot of people get really put off. They make this gorgeous, gorgeous, amazing wax ring, send it off, and it costs them like £100, £200 purely on the silver. So be careful with that.
I was just thinking, people might be thinking, well, I don't have casting equipment, so there's no point me watching the wax carving or modelling workshop, but actually you can, and then you can send it off to be cast.
You can send it off, or you can use it as a master for doing delft clay. You can use it as a master for cuttlefish as well.
Good. Excellent.
Anything else? That's it.
Okay.
Good. You're more than welcome. So glad you all like my shirt. I don't think it's going to get another outing. Everyone.
Oh.
But yeah, everyone look after yourselves. So keep an eye on our socials. Don't forget TikTok. If you're on TikTok, please come and follow myself, and also Louise as well on TikTok. What's your TikTok handle?
It was a stupid, and I couldn't change it for 30 days. It's at The Real Mrs. Bears at the moment, but
it's at The Real Mrs. Bears. MRS. MRS Bears.
No. BEZ.
BEZ.
The Real the Real REAL. So Mrs. Bears with the Z. BEZ.
MRS BEZ.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I was going to change it, and you can only change it.
I don't know. Once a week.
I'm doing my best with TikTok, but it's
hard.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Wait, I'm Generation X. I think I'm just Facebook, and
Good. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your week. We will see you next Monday for a workshop. If you're not interested in the workshop, that's fine. We'll see you the following Monday for our next Q&A. So everyone, take care. That's my hand on the seat. That's not.
I knew you'd qualify that.
That's not me. That's not me breaking it.
Andrew's very tired.
I'm very tired. All right, everyone, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.